Okay, so is it just me or does the font in season 2 look like complete garbage? Sorry, weird intro, I know, but it just looks weird. Alright, whatever. Enjoy the video. The Spectacular Spider-Man is one of the best adaptations of Spider-Man to date. The Spectacular Spider-Man was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and was developed by Greg Weisman and Victor Cook. The Spectacular Spider-Man has everything you could ever want in a show. The perfect blend of action, drama, and comedy, all in the high school setting, taking the best from Spider-Man media, the comics, and from the Raimi films, since those were the only films out at the time. The show aired on March of 2008 through November of 2009. More on that later. The show originally premiered on Kids WB, but me personally, I remember watching the show on Disney XD with the first and second season, and then I remember watching it on the CW for kids on Saturday mornings when the name changed about 100 times. I think the last name was Vortex before Saturday morning cartoons went off the air on that network forever. Sorry, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Producer Greg Weisman said that the show's theme is the education of Peter Parker, with some of the arcs being based around Peter's course of study. Season 1 arcs are biology, economics, and chemistry. Season 2 arcs are engineering, human development, and drama. Pretty sure I missed a few, but I'll put the wiki in the description so you can check it out and read it. You'll see these themes as the show goes on, and I actually like that about The Spectacular Spider-Man, taking Spider-Man back to basics. When someone's not getting punched in the face, the high school aspect is the most interesting part of the show. This is how a high school Spider-Man should be done. I'm talking to you, Disney, take notes. As interesting of a character Peter Parker is, so many other characters besides him get arcs. Flash Thompson is the main character I'm talking about when I say this. He starts out as your ordinary stereotype of a bully who you don't like, but by the end of Season 1 and Season 2, he's a likable character. I like Flash Thompson. I never thought I'd say that.
Weren't you picking up the silverware?
Why? You want to eat off dirty forks? Or ow!
Another thing that I love about this show is the character building. Most of the villains, especially in Season 1, get built up as people you care for until they become the main villain. Eddie Brock, Otto Octavius, Kurt Connors, and that's just to name a few, and there's plenty more just like them. Sandman and Rhino were just street crooks that Spider-Man took out quickly, and within the next few episodes they became villains in 2 back-to-back amazing episodes. Aside from the show's brilliant writing and lovable characters, the action is definitely the biggest standout. I cannot stress how fast and fluid the action is. It's definitely where the animation shines, and I know it's not revolutionary for 2008 standards, but it's really impressive, and I definitely feel like that's where all the budget went. Dialing it back to the characters and writing for a second, I like how they included almost everyone from Spider-Man lore. The main comics that Stan Lee and Steve Ditko did, the Ultimate comics, it's just everyone's here, and I like how they use them. Some of these characters would be nothing but filler, but they give them good backstories, well, some of them, and drop them into the action, making the stakes even higher. One moment where the writing broke my young mind as a kid was all of the flip-flopping with the Green Goblin. Harry's drug abuse had me saying, yeah, he's definitely the Green Goblin, because they showed up around the same time. But with all of the clues pointing to Norman Osborn, I was like, no, he's definitely the Green Goblin. And then in the end, it revealed that Norman was the Green Goblin in the end, and it completely blew my mind. Now, if you can make me question my life like that, you did a good job. Good on you, show. Now, I'm going to say something, and I'm pretty sure most of us can agree on this. Aside from Spider-Man the Animated Series, and I guess you could add Spider-Man the New Animated Series here, this is my favorite animated version of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Arguably, most would say, the best Spider-Man. I love this version because it captures the balance of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, like I said in my review of Spider-Man 2. You should definitely check that out, by the way. Every battle that Peter faces in his personal life, he ends up losing. Every choice, every decision he has to make, whether it be a positive or negative, it always has an outcome, and it has a bad one at that. In the episode Natural Selection, Peter wants to help Aunt May pay the bills, so he takes pictures during his fight with the Lizard. But when those pictures went public, the Connors fired him because they felt like they couldn't trust him. In another episode, Peter wants to join the football team, but he doesn't want to steal the spotlight from Harry, and he doesn't want to be a show-off.
Hey, if I wanted all the glory, I wouldn't wear a mask. So Harry gets his dream, and I watch from the sideline.
Don't even get me started on the entire love triangle he was tangled in with Liz and Gwen. Just a kid with your typical Peter Parker luck.
Was there something you wanted to tell me?
It was nothing.
Another banner episode in the life of Peter Parker. Jerry's left with no father. I'm left with no Gwen.
Spider-Man in this show is just like his comic counterpart with the non-stop quips. The writing for him is just so good with all of the perfect times of comedic gold. Josh Keaton just delivers every line with finesse. Definitely one of my favorite Spider-Man voice actors, and you can say definitely in the top 3.
You ever shut up?
Sorry, no. My fans expect a certain amount of quippage in every battle.
What is this? These skies are mine now!
He may be right. I really just ran it.
What are you babbling about? Put me down!
Dude, you are the bossiest damsel in distress I have ever rescued. Also the ugliest, heaviest, and the first.
This is my profession.
You do this for a living? With that accent, I was thinking rodeo clown.
Sadly, all good things must come to an end, and due to Disney buying Marvel around this time, if I'm correct, Sony owned and produced this show, and they didn't want to hand it over. So, they couldn't come to a deal, which led to the show's cancellation of the 3rd season and the launch of Ultimate Spider-Man in 2012. It really does suck that the show didn't get to finish its story and at least properly end with a 3rd season. The creators of the show wanted to introduce Carnage, Hobgoblin, Hydro Man, and Scorpion for the 3rd season, and the fact that 2 studios couldn't work together to give us at least one more season, it kinda bums me out. The Spectacular Spider-Man and Spider-Man the New Animated Series, 2 great Spider-Man shows that were canceled too soon. The Spectacular Spider-Man is one of the best Spider-Man shows ever made. Tell me there's something better. Go ahead, try.